Hello there and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Olumide Macaulay. On the program today, Nigeria Customs Service sees contaminated poultry. Ondo State encourages women to take part in politics. And Imo State government pays pension arrears. Welcome to the show today. We're going to begin with a story that affects all the Nigerian states because almost everyone everywhere in Nigeria eats chicken. Now, the Nigeria Customs Service says it's making efforts to clamp down on poultry products imported illegally into the country. The Controller, Federal Operations Unit Zone A of Customs, Mr. Sani Madugu, says that in line with this, the Customs only yesterday made a huge discovery of frozen poultry products.
The containerized vehicle, and you can see it's a refrigerated van that is used for smuggling of turkey. This early morning, our early hours of today, my officers had information and they struck, and we were able to arrest this on Idiroko axis. They were coming from that direction. So they have a total of 3,275 cartons. If you add it with the little quantity we have gotten from one bus also there, about 200 cartons, if you join the two together, it would be 3,475 cartons. We have calculated it. The duty paid value is about 15.2 million naira, total cost of these items, duty paid value. That is what they are doing. Like I have mentioned to you earlier, they will continue to import. Myself and my men and officers will continue to seize.
The Nigeria Customs Service speaking on impounding illegally imported poultry products into the country. From there, the country that is ours, Nigeria, is seeking to partner with the British government to combat crude oil theft within her borders through tracking the movement of ships by the global insurance company Lloyd's of London. At a meeting with a delegation from the UK, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Khadija Ibrahim, says that Nigeria's major areas of interest for partnership are economic development, corruption, and security. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Arkwright, who led the delegation, gave an assurance that Britain is working on returning stolen assets to Nigeria and is already encouraging investors to increase direct foreign investment.
Oil and gas have been the main areas in which the United Kingdom and Nigeria have had a lot of trade relationship but unfortunately, now that the price of the crude oil has gone down, Nigeria is seeking to diversify in areas of agriculture and mining. So we seek the assistance of more trade relationships with the United Kingdom in the area of agriculture and mining. Now, there is no sound economy without security in the country. No investors will come to a country where there is consistent war and terrorism. No investment will be safe with insecurity. And since the Boko Haram insurgency, there's been less investment in Nigeria by a lot of countries. But with the assistance of the United Kingdom, I think that it will come a long way in helping to assist Nigeria in fighting the Boko Haram menace.
Lloyd's Insurance of London, Lloyd's of London, are responsible for insuring most of the shipping around the world. The idea is that Lloyd's might be able to keep track of a number of the ships that could possibly be responsible for bunkering or for taking stolen oil out of Nigeria. That's an area where we're looking to cooperate with the Nigerian government and bringing together Lloyd's of London and the Nigerian government to see what more we can do in that area. And on the economy, part of my job is to encourage British investors to come to Nigeria, to invest in Nigeria, to create jobs and employment here. and that's exactly what I'm doing. So we're hopeful that the new economic team will provide the right kind of environment and send out the right signals and messages that will encourage investors to come here, because confidence is everything for investors, and we are confident in the future of this country.
That's the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Arkwright, speaking on bilateral relations between Nigeria and the UK. And also speaking earlier was the Minister of State newly appointed for Foreign Affairs, Khadija Ibrahim, looking for ways to combat insecurity and crude oil theft as a means of attracting foreign direct investment into the country. From there to the health sector across the Nigerian states, lack of domestic funding can negatively affect the 2030 target for interrupting HIV/AIDS transmission in Nigeria. Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Professor John Idoko, made this remark at a press conference to mark this year's World AIDS Day in Abuja. According to him, recent efforts from the agency are already yielding results that could make the Vision 2030 achievable if both government and the organized private sector invest in the program. There are about 3 million people living with HIV/AIDS in Nigeria, and 750,000 of this number are currently being treated.
We have a lot to do to go to 2030. But I also want to emphasize, 2030 does not mean that we know HIV/AIDS. It doesn't mean elimination. What does it mean? And I want to explain this. What it means is that HIV will no longer be an epidemic. Given the situation that we have, domestic resources is key. We cannot leave treatment in the hands of donors because donor money is gradually declining. It's also important that we are one of the countries that is as large as this, with the number of HIV people to treat or burden, that we cannot produce any of the commodities that we require. We do produce ARVs, but no company has WHO pre-qualified ARV. We do not produce test kits. We do not produce condoms. And those are key things that I think that any nation that really is battling with HIV should be able to, produce. The donor funding is coming down, and the donor programs are also coming down. In the next COP, the U.S. government, which supports us by almost 80%, is now reducing its expansion or scale out or scale up in only 32 of the 774 local governments. That means that we all have to come together collectively to start looking at how we can domesticate resources.
That's an alarming number, 3 million people in Nigeria living with HIV/AIDS, and just a portion of that number actually receiving treatment in the health sector. You're watching news across Nigeria. What's good for the goose is also good for the gander. That's what women are saying in Ondo State as they seek to be empowered to take part in partisan politics. Stay with us.